would really like to emphasize in terms of what the Educational Support Counselor Program has provided for us here in Kirkwood is really the opportunity to be responsive at the point at which a student needs that level of support. In each of our schools, we have an educational support team, counseling team that is comprised of our school counselors as well as our educational support counselors. Counselors work for us full-time. They are in their schools full-time. Actually, I like to say they're kind of 24/7 employees because they actually work evenings, they work weekends. Basically, if there's a need, they're there to respond and support our students.
Oftentimes when we're working with kids intensively, we are working around issues of anxiety, depression, and suicide. And one of our major focuses in working with the kids is to provide that therapeutic support, but also do a lot of education around the areas of depression and suicide. We talk about signs, we talk about symptoms, we talk with friends to educate all of our kids in case there is somebody who is struggling internally and not coming to an adult to share that information. Say to teachers if they have concerns regarding behaviors, whether they be acting out or more internalized behaviors that they are concerned about with the student, we will educate the teachers. We will strategize with them to provide interventions to help the student be successful. And at that time, we usually pull in the student to meet with them individually to see what we can do to help support them, and then really do wraparound where we can bring the family in to be a part of the school team and all strategize about interventions and supports that are needed for the kids to be successful.
We have many parents who work very closely with our educational support counselors, particularly when they're looking for outside sources for support. Perhaps there's a need for some kind of an evaluation, maybe a psychiatric evaluation to look at medication. It may be trying to locate a counselor that can help the individual student or help the family and the student together.
Educational support counselors provide a lot of resources for the families, so we do access resources such as food pantries, clothing closets, utility support.
As they're working with families, if they become aware that there may be a stress in the family in terms of not really being able to have adequate food or housing or utility concerns, our educational support counselors are very well aware of what kinds of resources may be out there to assist families, and they work closely with trying to get the families the support that they would need. Often it may just be being that first face that a student sees when they come in to school in the morning. Someone who kind of knows kind of what they're dealing with, that can encourage them and get them to class and help them feel like they can get through the day even if they've had a challenging night the night before. Particularly at the high school, our educational support counselors are just such familiar faces that individual students will seek them out if they feel like they need to have that support.
That the children can come and feel free to communicate with the counselors, the teachers, and the principal. Kids actually can go and talk to people when they need help. And I think that's comforting for other students that may seek a counselor, knowing that they're there and that there's someone to listen to openly.
Data now is really showing that it's having such a positive impact. We are way down in terms of the number of disciplinary referrals that we have from classrooms or hall behaviors or unstructured area behaviors to the office. Our count for the number of days that students are suspended out of school is way down. Our attendance is way up. I attribute a lot of that to the fact that we have responsive services, and our ESCs are a big part of that. It's kind of amazing when we think back to what life was like before we had them, that we were able to function. But we absolutely rely on them today, and it's been a tremendous resource for all of our schools. I can't imagine our schools without them.